Hi and welcome to Dressage in Lightness Online. I'm Leanne Williams and this is our Oklahoma Rose. It's really important that you do have been to our education video on how to fit the Cavesson. So it's very important that you know how to fit that prior to using it. But moving on to the education with the Cavesson, the first thing that we want to teach the horses is how to follow it. We're going to start to develop her longitudinal flexion, which is the length in her body, and also the balancing over the hind legs. And we can use this Cavesson to get these responses. So the first response I want to get from the horses is that I can put a very light pressure on the nose and they follow it down. That's it, good girl. She needs to know that once we've got that position, it's exactly where we want her. Good. Now when we get that response, we also get the base of the neck to relax. This is the brachiocephalic muscle. That's okay, sweet. This is the brachiocephalic muscle here. Its insertion is at the pole connection to the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade runs down through here. So if this muscle here, the brachiocephalic muscle, is contracted, means they're pulling themselves along with their shoulders. Now the idea of riding is that we would like the horses to be pushing themselves with their hind legs, not pulling themselves with their shoulders. So if we can teach them to let go of that muscle within locomotion, it's enabling us to get access to the core muscles and then access to the flexion of the pelvis, which is going to give us engagement. Good girl. So we just ask for the reach. Good. And then we give her the reward. Oh. So when she moves her leg, it gives me an indication that still we have a little bit of connection from the stretch exercise to the shoulder. That's much better. Good girl. Then we can lift her back up again and then ask her to do it again. Excellent. Now even big horses like Oke. Oke's 15 years old and she is a little over a half Clydesdale, half Thoroughbred. Her mother was 50-50 Clydesdale Thoroughbred and her father was 3/4 Clydesdale, 1/4 Thoroughbred. So she's a big girl, but we can also teach these bigger horses to carry themselves in self-carriage. Now, the next exercise we want to teach her is for her to be able to laterally bend left and right. So, firstly, I would like her to be able to come around to the right. Now, and not move her legs. That's the hard part. We want to have the head and neck independent of the body. Good. So then we're going to stretch the whole left side of her body. Oh, careful there. She had to come in the direction of the movement. So we'll just slowly work on these exercises till she can give me the bend. Good. In the direction of the movement. And now once I've got the bend, I'm going to ask for the reach. That's the hard part, because then if they're out of balance or their muscles don't let go, she'll want to move her legs to help herself. Good girl. Ultimately, I want to get that bend around to 90 degrees. Now we're going to do the same exercise to the left. So first of all, we want longitudinal stretch. Then we want to bring her around to her left. Oh, good girl. Now what she'll do to help herself is to swing her quarters out. So she's thinking about that at the moment, and I'm just going to say, no. How much can I stretch now? I'm stretching the right side of her body. These exercises are really important because horses are, good girl, either contracted to the left or contracted to the right. We can call them a left bend horse or a right bend horse. And our job is to make a diagnosis of whether their natural bend is to the left or their natural bend is to the right. So what we do with these exercises is get them to stretch the side that doesn't stretch so naturally. And we're going to go again, we're going to ask for the right bend. Good. I'd like to get it to 90 degrees, which generally we can do it quite easily in a high position. Good. But it's once you ask for the stretch. Yeah, good. 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 Good girl. Then we let her have a release and see what she does with herself. She'll shake her neck, exactly. Then we'll get the chewing. That's a little indication to us that, she's understood and hasn't been too stressed about it. Sometimes it can make them a little bit wound up and a little bit anxious about what we're doing with this. But if you just go about it quietly, good. I'm going to go back to the left. I'd like to get her to the 90-degree point and for her to stay completely balanced like she is over her forelegs. Oh, very good, Okie. Now if I ask for a little bit more length in the neck, I might be pushing boundaries. Oops, I was. But we need to know what she can and can't do. Yeah, good girl. Then she tries to step out of it because it's a little easier. Good. And we let down. Good girl. And I'll just reduce the amount of pressure in the bend because she's showing that it's a, whoops, we've got a resting hind leg. So we get a resting hind leg, we just rebalance her back over her legs so that she stands evenly. Good. Then we ask for the stretch again. And then we ask for the left bend. Good. And these are the first exercises that we use. And I'm just getting her to follow the line of the Cavesson. There's no force. We're just gently suppling her body up so that her head and neck can become independent. Oops, she's having a look. Independent of her core or independent of her body. And we'll use the word body, but we'll talk about from point of shoulder to point of hip. Good. Ultimately this turns into your shoulder in, the travers, the renvers and the half path. Good girl. Okay, so they're the first exercises that we want to be able to teach the horses.